Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, author of Epic Fantasy Romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Hmm, that's delicious. Ah, today is, say it with me, Friday. Feels like it's been a long week. It's been a long week for me. It is Friday, March 24th. We're almost out of March. I think typical for me when I am so buried in writing a book, I'm so head down in it that time moves at a different pace. So status report on Rogue Familiar. Of course, it's not done yet. I'm at 67,000 words. I'm closing in on the Act 2 climax. I still don't know where this fucking story is going. I should. I'm now monetized on YouTube. That's the great news. That's really the great news. If you're now seeing ads, hopefully they're all skippable. But it's already bringing me income, so that's amazing. That just happened during this week. I finally got approved, and I got set up to monetize and so forth. But they do make me check whether or not there's like any profanity within the first X amount of the show. And it's like, ooh, and I looked right as I let that F bomb fly, it was like at 59 seconds. So, oops, sorry. I might have to like cover my potty mouth because they have this whole thing where you have to go in and say what you have a choice. You can either have the bots figure out whether or not you are compatible with a brand, which I assume means are you squeaky clean enough, or you can like rate your own stuff, and that's like where you could check the which is what I should do. I'll just put in there, check, yeah, there's profanity within the first minute of the show, but you know what, guys, it's Friday. You all, so as a general update on that, I started putting my audiobooks on YouTube because Lindsay Lindsay Baroker. I was blanking on her name. I had to go look it up. At any rate, she had posted about putting her audiobooks on YouTube, uh, uploading them for free for people to listen to. And she had felt like the audience there was not bleeding off of the paid audience on other platforms, and that it was bringing her new readers, and that when she was able to monetize on the YouTube channel, that the income was quite good. So here's the deal for those of you interested in doing this. I've talked about it a little bit more, but now I'm at the end of this. um, I know it took a while. Let's see, I wonder if, yeah, hold on. So I put up the first one. I put up Dark Wizard 5 months ago. And when I put up Dark Wizard, I had something like 100, let's just call it 100 for an even number, subscribers to my YouTube channel from doing this podcast, which I know is a small and bitsy podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you, but some people listen only on audio, they listen via Google Play or Buzzsprout or what have you. A lot of people I know listen on Instagram. It's funny because like if you go by Buzzsprout numbers only, it's not everything, but uh, I know a lot of you listen in various places, and I treasure that. I mean, I really do. Uh, but the audiobooks brought in a whole nother level of people, and you have to do this thing in order to be able to monetize. You have to have at least 4,000 views. I think it was only 4,000 views, which I got to really super fast with the podcast already. I had substantial views because I've been doing this for a while. Um, and then you need 1,000 subscribers. And I thought it was either or. And to my disappointment, it's both. So I hit that 4,000 threshold like within a week. I mean, it was fairly easy. The subscribers, because longtime listeners know I'm really bad about saying subscribe to the podcast at the end. Probably because when I do say it in the Kermit the Frog voice, and it's not very convincing. Uh, because personally, I have never really cared whether or not people subscribe. I don't like to subscribe to stuff, so it's like, I'm not going to tell someone else to subscribe. Uh, Thank you all for subscribing. Uh, because once you hit that 1,000, and I finally hit that 1,000 like 2 weeks ago, and then I had to go through this verification process, which took, they say it may take several days. Well, it did. It took quite a few days. Um, and then uh, you can like fill out the stuff to start having ads and getting monetized. But very quickly, it's moving up, and I'm making something like $10 a day, um, and perhaps that will continue to go up. So that's really nice because all along I have said that I'm doing this podcast. Um, well, I do it because I like doing it, because my mother likes me doing it. And I am happy to burble on for my 20 minutes or so as I drink my coffee and talk to all of you in our informal conversation, which I love that so many of you say that you have your cup of coffee with me and that it feels like we're having that conversation. Uh, but I get asked a lot, you know, various people who know that I do this podcast, other authors and assorted types, they will want to know, like, what is my return on investment? What is my ROI? So overall, this is a fairly low budget show. Long time listeners know that we do not have high production value here. So I did finally buy a better camera, but that's partly because I do so many Zoom things, especially as president of SIFWA, where I'm like giving awards and stuff. It's like, I had to have a little bit better camera, but it was not expensive. This one was like $80. For monthly costs, I buy Buzzsprout, which is like $18 a month, and Zencaster, so that I can get the transcription. I record on Zencaster, and in order to get the transcription, I think it's $10 or $12 a month. Well, something like that. It's not a huge amount. Um, and occasionally people send me money, which I really appreciate. You can click like the little heart on the show notes, and I love it because people send me nice notes when they do that. And sometimes people send me presents like coffee cups. But anyway, so this is the first time that, like, with having the YouTube channel, that it actually is generating income. And it is not just from the audiobooks. It is also, I think that's most of it. I haven't really drilled in a whole lot, but so I took a gander, and it's still not an extensive drill down, but the audiobooks are definitely the most views. But this podcast is also getting the views too. So that's nice. We talk a lot about building up passive income and diverse income streams. So, that really helps to have things coming in from different places, especially where, like with passive income, you put it up there and you leave it. It's the great thing about being a writer too and having those books is that the books just, people keep buying and reading them. Thank you. So that's awesome. It's fascinating to see things wax and wane too. Like sometimes certain books will surge up, and it's like, why did this one start selling so well all of a sudden? So that's been great. Getting the YouTube stuff going is fantastic. Longtime listeners will know that I have dropped my number of podcasts per week. I was doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and the last couple of weeks I have dropped it to doing just Monday and Friday. And I'm trying to decide. I feel like it's early days to have much feedback on that yet. I don't know that it's improving my word count, which was the entire reason for doing it. Um, but I've had other things going on. I mean, it's just been like a busy couple of weeks anyway. I can say that this month already, I have written more words than I have since a year ago, since April 2022. And if I continue, if I have a good day today and a good week, then I shall probably have. Oops, sorry, I have a cat here, very interested in my husband coming and going. Do you see Killian? He's in the background. If you're on video, no, he wants out. Hold on. So if things keep going as on the same trajectory, I'll have the best month since May of 2021. So maybe that's helping. I've been doing other things to try to increase my productivity, to lay down the word count more, trying to finish Rogue Familiar for you all. Appreciate your patience. I'm very aware that my extended release date, original extended release date, was today or tomorrow, and it's still drafting away. So, so writing wise, this is a thing. I thought I thought this would be an easy book to write, and I'm not sure if I say that on every single book. I don't think I do. Um, Maybe you all keep me honest. Tell me, do I say that on every book? Um, some books certainly end up being easier to write. Uh, I thought that this book would be something of a slam dunk because I knew going into it the basic shape of the story, which I don't always. And reader, it has not been an easy book to write. And I talked to a very successful author friend of mine about this. Actually, two recently came to me and said, "Do you ever freak out? Do you ever like get halfway through the book and think this is too hard? I can't write it?" And it's like maybe we all do this. I think if you are being true to your storytelling brain, your story brain, and I don't know, to yourself as a creator, then each book is difficult in its own way. That's an absolute truth. And I think every single author will tell you that each book presents its own challenge that's unlike any other book they've written before. And for me, with this book going to be my 64th published title, you would think that that means that it would be easy, but or at least straightforward. And there are things about it that are straightforward. I was trying to reassure a friend of mine who's a fairly newbie author when they were talking about how long it's taken them to write this novel that they've been working on and looking at if there's like 5 in this whole series. And they were saying, I might not live long enough to finish it if I look at like how long this first one's taken me and how much of my life I theoretically have left. And I said, but you will get faster. You get faster as you go. Everybody gets faster, even slow writers. That those first novels just take a really long time because you're learning, you're figuring out what you're doing. So yes, I'm much faster than I used to be, and faster than many I know, and still not as fast as I want to be. But it's an interesting thing. I feel like I have to realize this every single time. With every single book, I go through this sort of emotional roller coaster of um, feeling, like it should be easier than it is, facing the fact that it's not being easy to write, that I can't just, like for a while there, I was trying to do 4,000 words a day and it did not work. Um, I'm still sorting out what's happening in this book and in this world. And I think one thing I did not think about going in is I'm sort of envisioning this as a 9-book series. So the Bonds of Magic is the first trilogy, Renegades of Magic is the second trilogy, and then I don't know, Who's He What's It's of Magic will be the third trilogy. 9 books. So this is the second book in the second trilogy, which makes it the fifth book of 9, which makes it the hinge book of the whole overall arc. And why didn't I realize that going in? Especially since I'm not a plotter, right? And so now, the midpoint, when we talk about the midpoint of a story, it's it's the pivot. We talk about the midpoint pivot. And it's sort of when everything changes. So in Act 1, the first 25%, we set up all the stakes. And then in Act 2, which is the middle 50% of the book, we are basically building and building and building, which is why some people have a hard time with the middle section of the book because it feels like there's no particular arc. The last 25% is, of course, the resolution of, of all of the stakes that you'd set up. So one way we talk about it is you get your protagonist up a tree, you throw rocks at them, you get them out of the tree. Those are the 3 acts, right? So that middle 50% of throwing rocks at them can sometimes feel formless. But one thing that we look for that really helps that sagging middle is that midpoint pivot where everything changes. Um, Things reverse, things go in the opposite direction of where they were going. We discovered that nothing was as it seems, and now it's totally different. And this is actually helping me figure out what's going on in this book. And it sets up the cascade of action for the remaining half of the book. So midpoint can have a varying length, right? It's just the middle of the book. And that pivot can be fast, it can be a twist, or it can be a slow revolution, a series of reveals that changes everything. So if that's one trick for if you are feeling like your middle is sagging, a sagging middle is like where the pace is slowing down and there doesn't seem to be much momentum, then you need to be looking for that reversal. Look for the pivot and how everything can change either in perception or in reality. So this book is just, I'm having to line up a whole lot of the political elements. Um, and I messaged a friend of mine yesterday and I said, why did I think that it was such a great idea to have this complex conspiracy that spans generations and centuries? And it's really hard to write. And I get myself into these binds, and yet at the same time I have to remind myself that I did this on purpose because this is part of stretching and growing. I've been asked a lot lately, it feels like, from sort of intermediate writers on how to level up, on how to get to be better and better. And I think that's one way you do it is you stretch. You try to do things that you haven't done before and see if you can make it work. The problem with stretching is it's really painful. So going back to podcast frequency, I don't know if it's making a difference. Not having anything on Tuesday and Wednesday might be helping. Uh, I find that I might do a bit better chattering 4 days a week. I get more of a flow if I'm in that habit. You all know how big I am on routines and habits and allowing that to do things for us. So uh, I think what will be most salient is content of the podcast. So those of you who are longtime listeners or new, anybody, but particularly those of you who have been listening for a long time when I did 4 days a week, let me know what you think. Is it better or worse with 2? Uh, Theoretically, if I'm only doing 2 days a week, I will concentrate interesting thoughts into those 2 days. Last Friday didn't count. I know I was wiped out. My mother complained about the 7-minute podcast, so you all didn't have to. All right. So on that note, I'm going to get to work. Hope that you all have a wonderful Friday. Hope you have a great weekend whenever your actual work weekend falls. And I will talk to you all on Monday. You all take care. Bye bye.